Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Welcome to BWTM Sports and our George Groves' fourth world title challenge against the champion Fedor Chudinov. Those of you who haven't already, hit the subscribe button. Please hit the subscribe button, like, and leave your comments. It's great to hear from you. Now, let's get into this one. George Groves. If I said that I thought Groves was probably one of the most overrated fighters in the UK, you'd probably slam me. But I love George Groves. I think George Groves is a good fighter. But I think George Groves' career effectively ended the night he fought Carl Froch the first time. And hear me out on this. Hear me out when I say this. When he fought Carl Froch the first time, if you remember, he hadn't fought anyone really. I mean, he fought Glenn Johnson. He beat James DeGale, which I thought James DeGale won. But I thought James DeGale won the fight. And that was when they were very young in their careers. He fought a seasoned pro in Carl Froch, a world champion Carl Froch, without having the experience and the know-how to get into a fight with Carl Froch. I said that Groves would dish it out. Carl Froch would come from behind and stop George Groves. He did just that. People say it was a premature stoppage. Howard Foster, George Groves, and those closest to George Groves knows what really happened that night. And Groves suffered from concussion. And in the rematch, Groves got brutally knocked out by Carl Froch. Then after that, he moved and took on Badu Jack, who had been knocked out before in his career. It was a bit of a fluke knockout. Not a fluke knockout, but it was there's nothing else suggesting Jack's career that he didn't have a good. It was just, I guess, one of those nights. Maybe he didn't make the weight correctly. I don't know. But the guy he got knocked out with was a bit of a puncher anyway. That's beside the point. The TNT promoted Badu Jack. I said to George Groves fans who tuned in, I said, listen, George Groves is not beating Badu Jack because he has the attributes to beat Groves, which are to punch back, to carry good power, to have good stamina, and to have the ability to fight with George Groves, engage George Groves. And what happened? Badu Jack got George Groves, hurt George Groves, and beat George Groves. Now we have Fedor Chudinov. But the fight before that, he fought a guy called Eduardo Gudnik. Now, I don't want to remind you of the Gudnik fight, but Gudnik now still remains in hospital, damaged by George Groves' fist. This is a sport of boxing, and when you get in the ring, you are taking a risk. And Edward Gudnik, another example of how brutal the sport really is, how unforgiving it is, and how people quite easily forget. Some people easily forget what Groves had in his fight, and are quite happy to see this new fight now with Groves and Chudinov. And that is key, because Groves, in the back of his mind, knows about what happened with Gudnik. Very few fighters can switch off from that. We've seen Chris Eubank Sr. when he hurt Watson, he was never the same fighter again. And I think George Groves, in my personal opinion, is finished as a fighter. I think the Carl Froch not nothing out of him. I think Badu Jack did a good number on him after that. I think the fights against they had the Mama's Boy fight, that was taxing. He had to fight against what's the guy's name that he went 12 rounds with? That Rocky was knocked out Rocky Fielding. There was him, and then in fact, you know what I'll do? I'll do it because still I'm just being lazy. Here we go. Right. George Groves, his career. I'll tell you what I'm talking about. Right, let's see. So he lost against he had the Dennis Duggan for a Brasse fight. It was a unanimous point decision. Right, after having two knockout defeats. The Robrasse fight. Then he had the Dennis Duggan fight. That went 8 rounds. 24-point decision. Then he fought Louisia when he was meant to knock him out anyway. Then he fought David Brophy, who's not a puncher, by the way. Brophy did kind of stun Groves in the first round. Then he fought Martin Murray, who is not a super middleweight. And, you know, Martin Murray was able to clip times in that fight. And he couldn't knock Martin Murray out. So then now you've got Goodnick as well now, who he was famously known for Golovkin in the amateurs. He didn't have much of a great professional career. And George Groves won that fight by unanimous decision. Okay, so there's a few things about Groves that I'm concerned about. I'm concerned once again. Same questions asked at George Groves fights: stamina, where he tied down the stretch, chin, his durability, heart, fighting back when somebody puts it on him, and punching power. And everyone says George Groves is a world-class puncher. Who's he knocked out? So at a certain level, George Groves is a puncher. When he moves up in class, he's not that great a puncher. So when I look at a guy, and George Groves can beat a guy, the guy in the opposite corner is going to have this: a good chin, good punching power, good work rate, willing to engage. Does Chudinov hit all those marks? Hell yeah. Remember he fought Buglioni with bombs, and Buglioni dropped him as well. But Buglioni couldn't finish him off, and Buglioni got beat up in that fight. Now, I said it was fresher. George Groves is coming into the ring a tired super middleweight, a beat up super middleweight, a super middleweight that has got demons in his mind from the Goodnick fight. This is a guy who has been stopped already off of one shot. This is a guy that has been in wars, and this is a guy that I'm not convinced his changeover with Shane McGuigan is actually helping him. If anything, it's leaving him to get knocked out. The way he leaves his left hand out there, he's very vulnerable to the right hand coming over the top. I really would like George Groves to win the world title. It would be great against him and DeGale for a rematch, but I just don't see it happening. I think Chudinov will once again expose within George Groves' chin, defensive lapses of concentration, heart, guts, inability to take lots of punishment, those things. And I think that Chudinov is going to engage Groves. When he engages Groves and he hits Groves, he hurts Groves, Chudinov might, if not stop Groves, outpoint him. Groves to win this fight, there's some things later on in his career he's going to have to prove that he can, you know, engage in a top class fighter up close. He's going to have to fight 12 rounds, hard 12 rounds, without against a genuine super middleweight, not a middleweight in Martin Murray. 12 hard rounds, and struggling at middleweight, super middleweight. Well, I think George Groves' best bet would have been to go and fight at light heavyweight and maybe take on a fight against Nathan Cleverly. I've always concerned about Groves when he fights anybody who's got any sort of punching power. I think Chudinov's got that. Better stamina than Groves. Opponents as Groves, maybe Carl Froch being the exception to that. So for me, I don't see Groves. I see Groves struggling. I will say I like Groves when he does his ring walks. His ring walks, they give me lots of great. They make me smile when I see Groves going to ring. Like a real bad man. Come to do the business. I'm a bad man. Like that kind of walk to ring. He does make me laugh when he does that. He does it. He does his ring walk, and I do like his theme tune when he comes to ring. Listen, don't get me wrong. George Groves is what I call a TV fighter. He's exciting to watch, but show and substance. Is he genuinely world class? No. I don't know what George Groves is considered world class, because who's the world class guy is beating? Don't tell me James DeGale, because again, I'll tell you that was when very early, great James DeGale's career. I think James DeGale's beat him, but there we go. Ross Clark 222 says, glad back, brother. Glad you're back, Ross Clark. Haven't seen you in ages. Groves will fold, no doubt, says Blue Pops. Spartus the Great. Hal Foster is the Brook v Spence ref. I do know that. I hope he's not the for George Groves as well. If he loses, he'll never fight DeGale again. I don't think he will. I don't think he'll fight another world title fight. I think it's the end of George Groves. He's supposed to have a world-class jab. I don't know. I don't know how somebody can have a world-class jab. You can only have a world-class jab if you're beating world-class opponents. You can't have a world-class jab fighting domestic opponents. I mean, I can say I've got a world-class jab. Jabbing my bloody, I don't know, my grandmother's head off. That doesn't mean I got a world-class jab. A world-class jab means you're able to shut down other world-class fighters. You stop guys from doing what they're doing, the work that they're doing. But I don't know if George Groves has got a world-class jab. I think he's got a decent jab. He's not got a world-class jab. Only Sky Sports tell you he's got world-class jabs when they haven't. So, you know. Who's Anonymous? Yeah, but I have to. I know you're joking, Anonymous, but there are people here that who believe the Sky hype, and because they listen to Sky Sport, they build the fight to be something that they're not. So just kind of clear that up. It was a joke. Well, I know. Groves has to win early to stand each other. Can't listen about every George Groves fight. For Groves to win the fight, he's got to win early. Well, I don't see him beating Chudinov early. I'm sorry. I can't see it now. It's that stupid, ridiculous style that McGregor's got everyone fighting with. That low left hand that just sticks it out there, left jab out there. If you time it right, you can catch these guys over the top with right hands. And there's no defense to it, because when you leave your left hand out there like that, where he has the left hand out like that, right, and they line you up like that, right. What happens if you slip? You can slip under. You slip under or cross, throw the left hook. You can over the top. And someone like George Groves needs to work on his defense because his chin's not great. So you sort of again, Frampton did the same thing as well. Frampton did that left hand. I don't know what it does, because it's not keeping the guy at a distance. It's not hurting the guy with a jab. He just puts that left hand out there all the time, and he leaves it long, and guys catch him with it. Murray caught him with it as well. Very annoying style that McGuigan has given to Groves, and Groves got along with it. Bad habits, I think, and yeah, like Carl Froch did. Well, yeah, he got chinned by Froch, and then I think he joined McGuigan after that. I think so. It's bad habits, just not helping Groves. George has to put Chudinov down early like he did Froch. Yeah, and what? Remember, didn't Chudinov get off the canvas? Did Froch get off the canvas and stop Groves? George Groves was supposedly badly concussed. Those are people close to him, and those who went backstage and saw him afterwards said he was badly concussed. So I understand, but you know, when Groves gets hit, he panics. He doesn't know what to do, and he tires. And you saw in the game tired. You've seen the Badu Jackie's tired, and I don't think that McGuigan can do anything to stop him from tiring. I just think he's in the weight. I always have felt that about George Groves. For those who didn't already know, just to repeat, Chantel Cameron, who has previously has now turned pro under under Cyclone Promotions, and Shane McGuigan. Congratulations to Chantel Cameron, and congratulations for Shane McGuigan and Barry McGuigan for snapping up Chantel Cameron. Good luck in her professional career. He has a professional debut next week, Friday. Side note. Anyway, wonder who Groves is going to blame this time for his loss. I don't know who's lost this time. I'm waiting to hear it. But you know, it's sad because George, I don't think, has corrected those mistakes. George have lost his fighting instinct and isn't as strong mentally since putting that Germany in the colour. That's my point. I did mention that at the top of the show. Right, so I don't really want to over elaborate. I predict Chudinov beats him, might beat him points. He might even get off the floor to do it, but I bet Chudinov wins the fight. I wouldn't be surprised if Chudinov scores. He just, I don't know. I like George Groves. I just don't think he's world class. I wonder what the odds are for all British guys winning their title fights next week. Groves, Allen, Brooke. Well, we'll see. We'll see. Thank you so much for watching BWTM Sports. I have to say that to some of our viewers who ask questions of other things about other channels. So thank you so much for watching. We'll see you soon. My prediction is Chudinov wins this fight. Don't forget to rate, subscribe, leave your comments, and at the end of this video, you'll see the circle in the middle. Hit that circle. That's the subscribe button. Hit that circle and subscribe to the channel. Thanks for watching. We're out here. Take care.